Welcome to another Minute with Alan. This episode is how I came to drink Jamieson's. I was in London, where I've been many times in my life, a few years ago, and I was going through security at British Air to fly back to Boston. And my carry-on bag created some kind of turmoil, alarms, bells, you know. And so they asked me just to stand aside, and they took another look. And then they took my passport, and they asked me to stand over there, and they closed the security station. And a man shows up in uniform, very nice man. He says, "I'm Constable so-and-so. We need to ask you some questions. We found some evidence of explosives." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm sure it'll be worked out." I said, "I have a plane in 2 hours." He said, "Oh, it'll be worked out by then." What he didn't say was one way or another, right? This is an absolutely true story I'm telling you. He takes out a little pad. It's like the assignment pad we had in fourth grade. Takes out a pencil, and he asks me, where do I live, and why was I in London? All these simple questions. And then he says, "Please be patient." And they did another check in now the closed-off area, which prompted two security people to show up. The constables in a uniform. These guys are plainclothes. I guess they're the equivalent of Homeland Security supervisors in our country. I don't know. They took out two assignment pads, each of them, and asked me the same questions a constable had and made their notes, each of them in their own little pads. Then they conferred. The woman who was in the security area with my passport and the constable and these two guys. And so I said to the constable, "What now?" He said, "We have to bring the dogs." I said, "The dogs?" He said, "Yeah, we have to bring the bomb-sniffing dogs. That'll determine what we do next." Well, a handler shows up, a woman, and I thought she'd have two mastiffs, at least German shepherds. No, she has two cocker spaniels. One is brown and white and one's black. Constable gives the go-ahead. The woman opens the gate to the now closed-off security area, and the brown and white cocker spaniel goes in there. It's absolutely true. I'm sorry to laugh. Now, the dog is the most professional of all of them. The dog didn't ask me any stupid questions. The dog did his rounds, did his thing, and he came out, and he faced the people, and the constable says, "You're free to go. We found out what the problem was." He says, "The dog tracked down the source of the alarm." I said, "Well, what was it?" "Well, it was a bottle this big, a spray bottle, that I got in the hotel. And the hotel gave this as an amenity. You sprayed this on your pillow to help you sleep," which it did. Unfortunately, it also almost helped me sleep for 20 years in some prison over there. And so I said, "This spray, don't you think you're..." He says, "Sir, what can I tell you?" I said, "Look, Constable, I'm going to turn this into a story someday. Can I take your picture?" He said, "No, you're not allowed to take our pictures." I said, "Wait a minute, you have another dog over there. You have a black cocker spaniel." He says, "Oh." I said, "Well, what's that dog for?" He says, "Well, if the brown and white one couldn't find anything, the black one goes in," he says, "and that's never good." I said to the handler, "Can I take a picture of the dogs?" She said, "Sir, we don't allow pictures of the dogs." I said, "You can't." She said, "Oh, I'm just having some fun with you," she says. And so I took a picture of the dogs. And then over to my right, when they finally restored my luggage, is the old Concorde Club. I used to fly in the Concorde, which is now the British Air Club or something, first-class lounge. I headed right in there. I still had an hour and a half to my plane. And when I sat at the bar and looked up, the first bottle I saw was Jameson's. And that is why today I drink Jameson's.